Hello and happy Sunday. Good morning, beautiful people. It is so very good to be here with each and every one of you as we take this time to celebrate the magnificence and significance of God operating in, through, and as us. We celebrate this truth as one family, and we are grateful to be here. It's so good to see each and every one of you after being away for the past 2 Sundays. Let us begin, as we always do, with prayer. This morning, our prayer champion, Reverend Shauna, will lead us in prayer.
Happy Sunday. Good morning. Let's close our eyes and breathe. In this present now, in this here and in this now, I know that God is. I know that God is the source of all things. I know that God is the creator of all things. I know that there is one consciousness, and that consciousness is God, and that consciousness is where we are manifesting this experience right here and right now. We are the consciousness of God. I'm so grateful and thankful that I know that I am the expression of God. I'm so grateful and thankful to know that every person on this planet is the expression of God. And I know that every person is right where God is. For God is all there is. I'm grateful and thankful this morning to know that our divine birthright is alive in God. Wherever we are, God is. We are the expression of love. We are the expression of prosperity. We are the expression of the activity of God through us and as us. We are the light of God. I give thanks that I know there is only one divine presence, one consciousness. And I know that my spiritual self is the gift of life. I am intentionally right now directing my thoughts, directing that divine consciousness to be the presence of love in my life and in the lives of others. I am directing my thoughts right now to be peace in my life and in the life of others. I am directing my thoughts right now to be abundant in all areas. I am directing my thoughts right now to stay aligned with the truth that I am, that you are a child of Mother, Father, God. I'm directing my thoughts right now to the infinite God being expressed through you and as you. I'm directing my thoughts right now to stay in this divine goodness and not be influenced by anyone else's ideas. I'm directing my thoughts right now that my healing is now, that my generosity is now. I am directing my thoughts to know that right now all is well. Today I declare that I am open to the divine realization that God already is, that I already am, that peace is already here, that love is already here, that there is nothing new to create, but to realize that God is, and that you and I are manifestations of that divine consciousness of oneness, of completeness, of wholeness. Today I declare that I am open to the consciousness that knows it is complete, it is whole, it is perfect, and I am aligned with it. I affirm that there are miracles in my life and in the lives of those around me, my family, my friends, my neighbors, my CSC family. I do what is mine to do and trust that all will be well. There is a time for action and a time to relax. There is a time to do something and a time to step back and exercise the faith and patience needed to give my goals and visions time to manifest. I stop my attempt to control life, knowing that the divine is the very essence of life. I believe my highest good is on the way to me and to you, that it is in God's time, not mine. When I look back on obstacles, challenges, even what I considered catastrophes, I see that God had a purpose and that it has all worked out for my good. That makes it easier today for me to be trusting and patient. So I rejoice in the knowing that I can do my part and then relax, knowing the divine is in, with, for, and through all things. I affirm for you that health and healing, balance and alignment, joy and contentment, abundance and prosperity are yours by divine right. I release this word into that divine law that already knows what to do and how to do it and is consciously, continuously operating in our lives right now. So through the music, the message, and the meditation, we know that there is total joy, acceptance, and expectations, and I release the word into this law knowing that it is already done. Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Yes, yes, yes. Amen. Ashe, and so it is. Thank you, Reverend Shana, for that powerful prayer. We are directing our thoughts. We recognize that we have great power and we have the capability and ability to direct our thoughts in the direction of that which we desire, in the direction of that which we want to experience, in the direction of that which we want to see. And so as we are gathered together to co-create this thing we call the weekend service, we know that it is good, good, and only good. Well, hello again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever place you find yourself on the planet at this moment. We know it is good and we send good to you. It is so very good to be here with you after being away for the past 2 Sundays. I was trying to see, I think I still have a little bit of my tan. We had a wonderful time at the beach and by the pool and enjoying the whales. And it was just awesome. And we are grateful to have that time. I know that many of you also took the time to rest and rejuvenate, and some of you still are, and that's wonderful. And we're grateful to see that and know that. If you are a first-time guest, we are happy to have you here. And we send you love, and you can feel free to shout yourself out in the comments. Let us know where you're connecting in from. You already see that many people are already letting us know that they're here connecting in from Phoenix and Memphis and Colorado, and of course from all over the NYC area. All 5 boroughs are always represented, and we are happy to have you. If you're a first-time guest, we would love to stay in touch with you. You see the information here on your screen. This is how you access your digital connection card. Just text the word welcome to 347-472-1078. You'll receive a follow-up text message with a link. Click that link. It's the link to the digital connection card. Enter your information and submit it. Once you have successfully submitted that information, you will be on our mailing list. You'll be all set, and you'll receive a follow-up text that says you're all set. And so you'll get our weekly email that goes out on Fridays and any other correspondence that is necessary for you to stay abreast of what's going on at CSC. We're going to get into the announcements in a second, and you'll see that there are some things that you may want to have in your inbox so that you can access that information at another time and at a place that's more accessible to you. I also want to say to everyone, because I recognize that there are some folks that may have joined us during the masterclass, the 18-week masterclass, and so we're done with the masterclass, and so our format is a little different, and so we look forward to you enjoying the weekend service as it's sort of normally presented here in this virtual space. So we'll get to hear from Soul 21 today. I'm excited about the new message series that we're beginning for the month of September. We'll talk a little bit more about that, and of course we will always grow and thrive and receive something that supports us in living empowered throughout our week. So let's get into the announcements, and then we can get into the meditation. Today is September 11th, and I didn't look at the calendar. I was trying to think back in my mind. I think this may have been maybe the first or the second time that we've had that 9/11 fell on a Sunday. But we do want to take a moment to just remember those lives. Some, for me personally, people that I knew personally that were in the towers, those that we may not have known personally. We want to take a moment to remember those lives, remember those souls that departed on that day. We know that that day really changed a lot in this world and in this country. I often think about my daughter, who turns 21 this year, has no sense of what it used to be like to fly, right? TSA has always been her reality. Taking her shoes off has always been her reality. And there's so many things that have changed in life that are now our new normal. But we recognize that there was something very tragic that took place. And so we honor those souls, we honor those lives, and we remember that as we take the time to remember, because there's the sort of never forget slogan for 9/11, which I actually find somewhat problematic. But what I think about on this day, it's a reminder. It's a reminder that the call for peace and the call for love must continue to ring true in our hearts, that we still must imagine and call for and take action around creating a world where tragedies like this never happen. We're clear about the seeds that created it, right? It wasn't because people just randomly hate America, right? We understand what has been done around the world in the name of the United States. We understand how that affected a lot of people. And then we also understand that war is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. Destruction is never the answer. And so we pray that you choose to honor and remember this day in the way that feels good to you, always remembering that there are many who are mourning and many who are grieving today. We are a church that believes in prayer. And so every Wednesday morning, we gather together in prayer at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Momentum Prayer Call. And we call it the Momentum Prayer Call because it supports us in keeping the momentum going that we create here on Sunday. It's also a wonderful way to jumpstart the momentum if you feel you've lost the momentum on Monday and Tuesday. And of course, it's a way to then, in the middle of the week, make sure that you're going to close that week out with powerful momentum. So we invite you to join us. We share a reading, and then we pray, and we go on about our day. It's a wonderful way to establish a vibration of good and an intentional vibration of good for your day, of expectation that things indeed are working out for you. And you, of course, can share this information with anyone else that you feel would benefit or want to join us in the prayer. We also record the prayer. So as you see the playback number, you can access the most recent prayer at any time, 24/7. Additionally, if you're on our mailing list, you'll see that there's a link under the prayer support section where you can access the most recent prayer online. If you have a prayer request, you can send that prayer request to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. That prayer request is received by Pastor Yolanda, myself, and all of our prayer champions, and we will know the truth with you. We will hold the highest watch with you or for your loved one that you may be submitting that request on their behalf, and we are happy to do it because we know that prayer works, and we love to see prayer working in the lives of each and every one of you. We also encourage you to follow up with us as your prayer is answered. Send an email to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org and let us know that your prayer has been answered. Let us know about the shift. Let us know about the miracle that has taken place, and we love to hear that as well. Next Sunday is the third Sunday, and every third Sunday is God Talk Sunday. The God Talk is your opportunity to ask questions, no matter what that question may be. You may hear something said in a sermon, you may have read something in a book that we recommended, or you just may be trying to apply new thought metaphysical principles to your life, and you got questions. You may have read something in the Bible that doesn't seem to align with these teachings, or you may have been taught something in the past that you're trying to reconcile. And we recognize that it's important to have a free, open, honest forum to be able to ask those types of questions. Additionally, we know that many of you have been on this path for a while, but you hit a roadblock. You have an experience and you're not sure how to manage it or how to see it, and you're seeking some insight on how to apply principle to whatever that situation is. And Pastor Yolanda and I are here to absolutely support you in that way and answer those questions. The God Talk is an awesome, awesome experience. Unfortunately, there are so many people that have not experienced the God Talk, and I encourage you to. It's free. It only lasts an hour, and every question that's asked benefits everyone that's in the space. You have to be there live. We're virtual, so that's happening on Zoom, which is actually great because it's allowed us to open the God Talk to more people, right? When we were in person, the God Talk was only available in person. So if you're on our mailing list, the Zoom link and password is there. That's another reason you want to be on our mailing list. And we look forward to you joining us next Sunday at 1 p.m. following service for the God Talk. No question is off limits. Yes, yes. And that completes our announcements for today. And so now we move into the very, very capable hands of Pastor Yolanda as she leads us in the meditation experience.
Ah, yes, the meditation experience. We call it that very purposefully because often we have read so many books. Our library is full, and we are always in favor of knowledge. But if you have not had a direct, personal experience of God within you for yourself, then what you have is information. And we are all about experiencing God alive, well within ourselves. And so we take this time every Sunday. For many, this may be the only time that you have an opportunity to stop, to pause, to remember, to realign, to allow this connection to be fully present for you. And so this month, we are focusing in on the affirmative thought, I am surrounded by the love of God. I am surrounded by the love of God. That means the love of God is expressed in every flower. The love of God is expressed in every drop of rain, in every animal that inhabits the planet and in the ocean, in everyone you meet. Why is this so important? Because it reminds us that we are safe and secure and held and loved, no matter what is happening in our external experience. We can just close our eyes and affirm. And an affirmation is a reminder of truth. No matter where I am, no matter what is happening, I am surrounded by the love of God. And I let it in. I let it guide me. I let it hold and nurture me. So let's do that right now. Let's allow this love that God is to hold us, to nurture us, to cheer us on, and to remind us that we are unconditionally loved. So, go ahead, look around the room, notice where you are. Whether you are seated upright in a chair, on your bed, on your sofa, the beauty of being at home is that you are safe and can experience the safety of your environment. We all get to do that together. So, align the ears over the shoulders so that you're not leaning too far forward or too far back. Just nice and aligned. Shoulders over hips. Allow the palms to rest on the tops of the thighs. And now, close your eyes. And the simple act of closing the eyes gives permission for this love that is surrounding us to be experienced more and more deeply. We signal the body that it can relax and receive love. We signal our lives that we are open to love and that we are safe right where we are. From this place of safety, just notice the breath. Whether it appears to be deep or shallow, let's just take a few rounds to notice it and be in gratitude for it. And that simple act of breath and noticing allows us to relax even more with each round of breath. And now, let's take conscious control of the breath, for it is ours to do so. Sending our focus and our attention into the low belly. Together, inhale on a count of 4 and expand the low belly. Inhale together. Hold it there. Count to 4. Open the mouth, relax the jaw, and release whatever you've been holding. Sigh it out. Again, inhale into the low belly, expanding the belly, making more room for breath, relaxing into your surroundings, and allowing your body to experience the love of God. Hold it there. Open the mouth, relax the jaw, and sigh it out. In through the low belly, now up through the rib cage, expanding as you inhale, front and sides and back of the body. Hold it there. And without collapsing, just release the breath. A fresh moment in through the low belly and up through the rib cage, expanding, making room. Hold it there. And sigh it out. Navel draws in towards the spine, releasing all of the air and the past. And inhale into the low belly, up through the rib cage, now making its way to that heart chakra, center of the chest. Hold it there. And now sigh it out. One more time. In through the low belly, full breath all the way in and up through and to the heart. Hold it there. And now release it. Sigh it out. And as we release, we relax and know that we are surrounded by the love of God. Every breath, every step, we allow it to hold us, nurture us, and love us. Let's practice a few rounds of this deep breath, in and all the way up. And when you reach the top, this time close the lips and exhale through the nose. This will be our form of breath work, in and out through the nose. It gives us a deeper relaxation, a deeper connection. And so we breathe easily, effortlessly, joyously. Last round. And now let's send that breath into the feet. Notice the feet. Maybe you've been gripping or holding really tight this week or rushing to and fro this week. Take this opportunity to send love and relaxation into the feet. Relax the feet. We give permission for breath and energy and love to flow up through the soles of the feet, across the ankles. Relax the ankles. Energy flows across the shins and the calves. Relax the shins and the calves. Unobstructed, the energy flows across the knees. We bend, we align, we allow ourselves to be surrounded. Relax the knees. And the energy flows now across the thighs and the hamstrings and the glutes. It feels good to recognize them and give them permission. Relax the thighs, the hamstrings, and the glutes. And that energy gathered at the base of the spine, we now follow its path as it flows in and up. Relax and allow. In and up. Relax and allow. In and up. Exhale, relax, allow. Up. Exhale. Relax, allow. This love that surrounds us cannot be stopped. We allow it to flow in and up and out the crown of our head, connecting us each to one another and to those we love. We stand on the receiving end of love as it flows back down through the crown, across the third eye, down the throat, across the shoulders, down the arms, and out the fingertips. From this point of openness and receptivity, scan your body one last time. Are you holding any tension, any thoughts? Can you relax behind the eyes a little bit more? Turn the palms up to receive, or leave them turned down to ground as we prepare for our silent time. If the mind wanders, it's okay. When you become aware, lovingly, tenderly, bring yourself back to our affirmative thought. I am surrounded by the love of God. I'm surrounded by the love of God. I give it full permission to be at the center of my experience now. With our eyes still closed, we remember that right where we are, God is. It extends in front of us, above, beneath, and back of, and behind all that is. We allow it to be our fullest experience now. With our eyes still closed, we enjoy how good it feels to relax into the safety of God's love. With our eyes still closed, we bring all of this love and connection back with us. Let's slowly begin our return, connected, grounded, and loved. Maybe you elongate the breath a little bit, or wiggle the fingers and the toes. If the palms are turned up, turn them down. That subtle contact with the tops of the thighs, we acknowledge the body and how it performs beautifully for us. And now bring the palms together at heart center. And nice and easy, touch the thumbs into the sternum. Bow the chin to the fingertips. And notice that nice opening at the spine, the base of the neck and along the spine. And from this place of noticing and alignment, slowly flutter the eyes open. Nice soft gaze, no strain on the eyes or our current experience. We allow love to guide our steps, our vision, our lives. Inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze, release the breath. Namaste.
Yes, yes, yes. Namaste. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
Yes, well, it is September. It is a new month, which means there is a new message series here for us. Our series for the month of September is Deep Dive. And it's rooted in a spiritual principle and axiom that comes to my mind every time this year. In order to spiritually ascend, we must first spiritually descend. And so we're going to take a deep dive. We're going to go within. We're going to see and uncover some things. Looking forward to today's message. My topic is the power of releasing. But before we get into the message, we're going to hear from Soul 21. This song has been on my mind all week, and I pray it meets you right where you are. So let's hear from Soul 21, and I'll see you on the other side of that song. So this song takes us even deeper into that understanding that when we understand that God is all there is, we understand that it is our everything, my everything. It's the thing that I live, move, and have my being in. When you breathe in air, that's your air. I can't breathe in your air. That's God. That's your God that you're breathing in. The blood that's flowing in your veins, that is your God. God within you, my God, flowing through your veins. Yes, yes? Yes. It is your absolute everything. In you I live and breathe. You're and all I see. You are life in me, my everything. All right, yeah.
Your infinity, stars and galaxies, yeah.
You are life in me, my everything. There is one life. Yeah, yeah.
There is one mind.
It's the power.
It's the power that's behind everything we know.
It says it loves me. And it says I'm worthy.
It says I'm worthy.
And there is nothing that can change.
Can change this love inside of me.
Where would I be without this love?
Where would I be without this love?
our life in me. My everything. Yeah. It's in the mountains and it's in the flowers. It's the power that we use to create the life we see. Oh, and it says it loves me. And it says I'm worthy. And there is nothing that can change this love. Oh, nothing exists without love. No, nothing exists without love. Tell me where. You're in all I see. You are like me. My everything. Your infinity. The stars, the galaxy. Oh, you are like me. And you are the breeze. Oh, you're in all I see. God, you are like me. Your infinity. Stars and galaxies. Oh, you are like me. Oh, you are the breeze. Oh, you and all I see. You are like me. Your infinity. Stars and galaxies. Oh, you like me. Everything. I live a dream. You're my everything. Oh, in you I live and breathe. You're my everything. Soul 21. Can you sing that for me? You're my everything. My everything. You, I live and breathe, yeah. Oh, my. You're everything. And you tell me I'm worthy. Tell me you love me. Tell me I'm worthy, yeah. Tell me you love me, my everything.
I live and breathe.
Oh, my.
You're my everything.
Oh, my. This is personal. In you I live and breathe.
I live
Make it personal. You're in all I see. Yeah, yeah.
my everything.
God, love, peace, joy, use whatever name feels good to you right now.
I live
You living and you moving and you're swimming in. Yeah. You're mine.
my everything. I live and
Oh God, we live in you. And you move through us. Yeah, you're mine. You're
my everything.
you are living.
In you I live and breathe.
You're my everything.
You're my everything.
There is no separation with you. I live and breathe.
You I live and breathe. You're my everything.
So it is. So it is. So it is.
My. Yes. In you I live and breathe. You're in all I see. You are life in me, my everything. That is the truth of who and what God is. It feels so good to hear from Soul 21. It's wonderful to have the power of music as it supports us in hearing and receiving the word and the message that is coming forth today. I am so grateful. Thank you to Soul 21. I'm so grateful for the power of God in me, writing music through me that moves us and supports us in beautiful and powerful ways. Well, hello again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is so very good to be here with each and every one of you. I have something powerful that I want to share with you all, and I don't want to take too much time with any kind of preambles, but just get right into the message. I will say again, as I just shared briefly, we have our new series, Deep Dive, that is rooted in the spiritual idea that in order to spiritually ascend, we must first spiritually descend, right? And we understand that. We see that in the life of a seed. We know that a seed, by design, it's designed to break open and grow large and high and tall. But before it can ascend, it has to descend into the soil. Well, this time of year is a time of year that I love, and I love it for a bunch of reasons. It takes me back to 2014, and when I think about in 2014, that's when I received the idea for the 90 Days to Greatness program. I was looking at the calendar right around this time, and I said, wow, we're at the end of the third quarter of the year, and the fourth quarter is about to begin. We have 3 months remaining in the year, October, November, and December. And I said, wow, because that was interesting to me because I had already demonstrated in my life and proved to myself that great change and transformation is possible in just 90 days. And so I thought to myself, what can I create in the next 90 days? Now, using something that I learned from my brother, Reverend Rodney McKenzie, I call it the McKenzie Principle. I named it after him. I also invited a few people to join me on that journey, and the 90 Days to Greatness program was born. Those who took that journey with me back in 2014 experienced wonderful transformation. We had weight release. We had new businesses started. We had marriages and new relationships. We had new careers, dream jobs were attracted. Wonderful things happened. And of course, that gave birth to the program that has now supported hundreds and hundreds of people since that time. But that's not the only reason that I love this time of year. You see, we're also 11 days away from the autumnal equinox, or the beginning of fall. This, of course, also signals the sign of Libra. And we know that what happens is, from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, this is when half of the sun is in the northern hemisphere and half of the sun is in the southern hemisphere, and the sun is making its descent. And so I know that some of you may be itching for that first sip of your first pumpkin spice latte, or you can't wait to go apple picking or go to the pumpkin patch, or some of you are excited about fall because you want to celebrate All Hallows Eve and you want to celebrate Thanksgiving. But for me, there's something else that I look forward to in this time. Because you see, summer and spring are our external masculine seasons. And summer and spring are filled with lots of action and activity, as they should, right? But fall and winter are our internal feminine seasons. Fall and winter are filled with lots of inner listening, incubating, and creating. Now, although the world around us moves at a different pace because of our capitalistic system, it is important for us in our spiritual life that we honor the path of the sun and the seasons. And so as we take a deep dive, it's time to go within. I'm reminded of the profound wisdom of Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching in verse 62, where he writes, within, this is where the world's treasure has always been. Your treasure is here now, within you. And we take the support of this time that life itself is already moving us towards to delve into accessing this treasure. So as I said earlier, we are just 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out from the last quarter of 2022, which is a lot to actually wrap your mind around when you think about it, right? We're looking at the tail end of 2022. Last month, we completed an 18-week masterclass demonstrating the power of decision. Decide to be happy, wealthy, healthy, and creative because divine intelligence is operating intelligently in, through, and as us right now. And so as a result of that, you may have an idea. You already may have an idea of what you want to be, do, or have in these next 90 days. You may have a clear idea of what you want to create. You may have a divine vision for your next great unfolding. But how will you get there? Take a breath. I want you to hear that again. As a result of the powerful 18-week masterclass, you may have an idea of what you want to be, do, or have in the next 90 days. You may have a clear idea of what you want to create. You may have a divine vision for the next great unfolding as your life. But how will you get there? And so in this moment, I want to take us to 2 questions from the life visioning process. Because I believe these 2 questions from the life visioning process can support us in getting there. Now, I'm paraphrasing these questions in the context of what we're talking about today. The first question: what must I become in order to be, do, or have my desire in the next 90 days? You can feel free to write down these questions if you're taking notes. What must I become in order to be, do, or have my desire in the next 90 days? The second question: what must I let go of in order to be, do, or have what I have decided I shall be, do, or have in the next 90 days? I'll read that again. What must I let go of in order to be, do, or have what I have decided I shall be, do, or have in the next 90 days? So let's look at the first question. What must I become in order to be, do, or have my desire in the next 90 days? Now, when I hear that question, it actually reminded me of a sermon, and I invite you to go back to it in December of 2018, the series, Your Prayers Have Been Answered. And one of the sermons in that series was titled, But I Don't Want to Change. And looking at one of the principles of prayer, we understand that prayer is answered through us, right? That prayer is not about someone outside of us doing something on our behalf. Prayer is answered through us. And so because prayer is answered through us, when we pray a prayer, what we are really saying, and this is what I shared in that sermon, what we're really saying is, I want to change, I'm ready to change, I'm willing to change. So you may have an idea of what you want to be, do, or have in the next 90 days. You may have a clear idea of what you want to create, or you may have a divine vision of your great unfolding. I said that earlier. That idea, that desire, that divine vision is a decision to change. Now, you may not be conscious of it in this moment, but you may not be conscious of this, but the moment you embrace a new idea, desire, or vision for your life, what you are signaling to the great law of mind is, I want to change, I'm ready to change, I'm willing to change. Take a breath. Lord, have mercy. The moment you embrace that new idea, the moment you decide and say, this is the thing I want to be, do, or have as we close out 2020, or I want to use these next 90 days, as I know anything can be changed or transformed in 90 days, what I am actually signaling to life and to the law is, I want to change, I'm ready to change, I'm willing to change. Now I hear some of you saying, hold up, PG, I just wanted a few $1 million. I just want a new car. I just want my kids to start acting right. I just want a new job. I just want a promotion. I just want to buy a new home. I just want to increase my business revenue and profits. I just want to spend a month in Greece living my best life, PG. I didn't say anything about changing. The thing you desire or have decided that you will be, do, or have requires a release of who you are now. I'm going to say that again. The thing you desire or have decided that you will be, do, or have requires a release of who you are now. Take a breath. And so we could try this affirmation on for size. I release who I knew myself to be and lovingly embrace who I have decided to be. That feels good, doesn't it? I release who I knew myself to be and lovingly embrace who I have decided to be. Now, I want to note something here because I think this is important, because you could hear this and it's like, okay, PG, you're saying I got to change, and you're saying it requires a release of who I am now, or I release who I knew myself to be. Well, I like myself now. This is not asking you to lose your identity or lose yourself. You'll actually become more of who you truly are and come into a greater understanding of what's possible in, through, and as you, right? It would be as if you were water and you were in water's liquid form, and as water in its liquid form decided that it wanted to be solid, and we recognize that in order for liquid to become solid, H2O, it has to go into a different temperature. It has to be frozen. And by law, it happens easily and effortlessly, no respecter of person. What happens? That liquid H2O becomes solid H2O. Did it stop being H2O although the form changed? See, this is why I love the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, as below, so above. The principle of correspondence that's teaching us that if we can understand it and see how it works in the physical world, we can understand how it works in the metaphysical world. Just as the H2O doesn't lose its identity moving from liquid to solid, so you're not going to lose your identity by moving into this thing that you're seeking to create, but you're going to realize something. You didn't know what life was like as in this solid form. You didn't know the things that you could be, do, or have in that form. And then you realize you could transform back to liquid, or you could transform to gas. You're starting to demonstrate more of who you truly are, not losing yourself. You're not losing yourself or your identity. I think that's something that's very important to understand. So again, I say, the thing you desire or have decided that you will be, do, or have requires a release of who you are now. And so we affirm, I release who I knew myself to be and lovingly embrace who I have decided to be. And so as we move into this time of inner listening, you must ask yourself the question, what must I become? Who must I become? How must I stand in the world? How must I show up in my life or the lives of others? And so this is an exercise for you, right? This is not something to just listen to and say, oh, wow, PG gave a great sermon today. Right? This is a practical step, y'all. Take the time. Because what did I say about this time is we're taking the deep dive and we understand that we're moving into the internal period, the internal seasonings. This is the time of inner listening. This is the time of inner knowing. This is the time of paying attention to the still small voice. And this is where creation happens. Creation happens in the womb. Creation happens in the feminine, right? And that's in the unknown. There's a mysterious aspect still, even according to science, when we think about humans being created. There's still mystery behind the process. And so we must be willing to engage in that mystery. We must be willing to ask these questions and listen. What's so interesting, I love when we consider this time period right now and the path of the sun and astrology, etc., right? We also know that we're in this period of Mercury retrograde, which is a beautiful period, right? Because one of the things is that it brings old things back up, right? Oftentimes the ideas that you had, things that you wanted to create in the past and you may have talked yourself out of, or somebody talked you out of, or you just forgot about, or you got too busy, or you were scared, or you thought you were unworthy, or you didn't think you had enough money, or you didn't think you had what you need. Retrograde brings those things back. Also, what this beautiful season of retrograde, Mercury retrograde can do is also surface those things that are unwanted. And so we get to let those things go. What must I become? Who must I become? How must I stand in the world? How must I show up in my life or in the lives of others? And so then we have the second question. The second question is a releasing question and supports us in fully understanding and embracing who and what we must become. I forgot to say this earlier, right? So y'all see that the title of the sermon is The Power of Releasing. And so that's why the first question, right? The thing that you desired or to be, do, or have, or decided that you will have requires a release. The second question is more obviously a releasing question, right? And it supports us in fully understanding who and what we must become. What must I let go of in order to be, do, or have what I have decided I shall be, do, or have in the next 90 days? And there's a second part to this question. What habits, thoughts, beliefs, patterns, ways of being must I let go of in order to be what I have decided I shall be, do, or have in the next 90 days? Habits, thoughts, beliefs, patterns, and ways of being. What must I let go of? So as I was just saying, Mercury retrograde brings those things up. It may bring up some habits and some thought patterns that you didn't think you believed, or you thought that you were believing differently, but now you're in an experience which is resurfacing that belief. It's resurfacing that pattern. It's only showing up because there's enough love to heal it. It's a loving opportunity. It's not an opportunity to shame yourself or blame yourself or to feel guilty or to ask unloving questions, as PY would say. Unloving questions like, what's wrong with me? Or why am I thinking this way? Or why is this happening again? Or why is this happening to me? It's the opportunity to heal it. And so there are a few exercises that you can use in this moment. One that came to my mind was the Law of Attraction T tool. Right? And what that tool simply is you take a piece of paper, you draw a line down the center, and you draw a line at the top, right? And you create a T. And on the left side, you write, I don't want. And on the right side, you write, I want. So often, as we are deciding what we will be, do, or have, and if someone asks you, what type of relationship would you like to be in? And your response might be, well, I don't want someone that ... And I don't want to be in a relationship that ... right? What type of financial situation would you like to be in? Well, I don't want to be broke. Well, I don't want to have to pay for this, that, or the other, right? Well, I don't. And unfortunately, first of all, the way life works, the way the principle works, the things that you say you don't want are the things that you're creating, right? We live in an inclusive universe. The things of God are yes and amen. It doesn't know, no, the word no, right? Only yes. And so even though that's not what your intention is to create the don't want, if that's what you're constantly saying and talking about, then that's what you're giving life, and life creates from that. And so you continue to get more of what you don't want. Right? And so what this tool does, one, it helps us to surface the don't wants. You might not realize it. Surfaces the don't wants, but also on the other side, the I want, well, if you don't want someone that is late all the time, you don't want to be in a relationship with someone that's late all the time, or you don't want to date someone that's always late, right? Well, then what do you want, right? I want to be in a relationship with someone that's punctual, or that respects time, respects my time and others, someone who apologizes or calls when they're running late, right? It could be anything like that, but it helps you to now clarify your mind around what you want. But this don't want is very important because it's surfacing some of the belief patterns and thought patterns that may have been going on, right? This process reveals the pattern of your thinking. This process reveals what you're really telling life that you want. And this process reveals, unfortunately, what you really believe. And so often we're not aware of that, particularly when the bulk of society speaks in this way, right? Creating exactly what they do not want. Now, something else you can do, and this is what I do. I'm so excited. I can't wait. You see this book, The 30-Day Mental Diet, right? I love this book. You've heard me mention it zillions of times because this was part of my process back in 2014 when with the 90 Days to Greatness program. What I recognized was that I wanted to clear my mind, right? And so by using the 30-Day Mental Diet, I'm able to do that, going through the readings each and every day, just like any other diet, right? Any diet requires some sort of releasing and letting go, right? You got to release fried foods, right? And embrace something else. You got to release high sodium foods or high calories, right? Lots of calories, minimize your calories, right? You got to release being a couch potato and start exercising, right? So the mental diet requires the same thing. Right? And so reading through this text for me personally, it feels like, you know, and I know as New Yorkers, everybody doesn't drive, but do you know the difference of what it feels like when you're driving and you can see through the windshield, right? It's clear, but it's not clean. And just that difference of when you use the windshield wipers and actually clean your windshield, and then all of a sudden everything is just clearer, everything, you know, just makes more sense, right? That's for me what this 30-day mental diet does. And so I've been using this text for a very long time. I think the first time I read it was in 2010 or 2011. And but since 2014, every October, this is what I do, right? This is my reading for my 555 of my spiritual practice every month in October. And although I am a teacher of metaphysics, although I am a pastor, I am not anyone, the type of person that believes that I know it all or have seen it all. I know that I always have the opportunity to release more things, right? I know that just by virtue of living life, and this is why I love this text, just by virtue of living life throughout the year, right? You pick up thoughts and habits and beliefs that don't serve you, right? Just inevitably, everybody does it. I'm reminded of a conversation I had with Reverend Michael once, but it's like we can all become a little too human in that sense that we forget our spiritual selves, right? And we start just acting any kind of way, thinking any kind of way, believing any kind of way, and we don't even realize it. And so what's beautiful about a text like this is it brings my mind back to what is true. It startles me, right? It jolts me back into remembering what is true. And that's important because it supports me in then holding the belief patterns and the thoughts and the beliefs that I need to hold in order to create the things that I've decided that I will be, do, or have in the next 90 days. Now, there will be an opportunity later this year for you to go through this text with me and study this throughout the 90-day process. And I look forward to many of you joining me. But whether you join me or not, this book is available. It's been available. You can go to Amazon right now and get it and start using it tomorrow, right? There's a Kindle version, so you could download it today and start using it tomorrow. For others, there may be some habits that need to be released. Watching too much TV, or I think more importantly, watching TV shows that support the opposite of what you desire. I see this all the time, and it's interesting to me, right? But if there's something that you desire in your life, you want to be sure that the things that you're actually putting into your mind are supportive of that. One of the things that Willis Kinnear writes about in the beginning, in the introduction of the 30-Day Mental Diet, is like, okay, as you're doing this, don't just read these readings every day and it's powerful and you have this wonderful experience and then go out in life and just feed yourself the same old stuff, right? It's like, I don't know, you eat a salad for breakfast and then eat McDonald's for lunch and dinner, right? Like that, you just counteracted all the good that you did, right? Or watching too much news, or how we misuse social media. Nothing wrong with social media, right? Gossiping, complaining, right? You may want to pick back up, if you did this before, the complaint-free challenge, or you can go online and order your complaint-free bracelet, a complaint-free world, and support you in doing that, so you can move out of complaining and letting that go. Some of us may need to let go of people-pleasing, or putting ourselves down and negative self-talk and putting ourselves last. There's a whole lot of letting go of. Another one that comes to my mind right now is letting go of how you think it's supposed to happen. Lord have mercy. Right, you've decided what you shall be, do, or have, but then you're like, God, it has to happen this way. Life, I will be, do, or have this thing in this way because I am almighty, and so I'm going to say how it goes. The how is not your business. The what is your business. So the decision is your business. What you're saying that you will be, do, or have, that is your business. And then you allow life to easily and effortlessly and elegantly and magnificently bring it forth through you in the way that makes the most sense logically through you. And see, life is so loving, it also brings it to you in spite of the roadblocks that you put in front of it, right? But the more that you can let go of the how you've seen it happen, how you think it has to happen, the more life can perform a profound miracle in, through, and as you. So we have two questions. What must I become in order to be, do, or have my desire in the next 90 days? What must I let go of in order to be, do, or have what I have decided I shall be, do, or have in the next 90 days? This is the power of releasing. And it's something that we must understand. And I want to go back to this because I love how this principle works. And we think the principle of correspondence, just another way to look at it. So I shared with you, I said, you're not going to lose your identity. Just as H2O doesn't lose its identity. If H2O is gas, it's still H2O. If it's solid as ice, it's H2O. If it's liquid, it's still H2O. Well, looking at this principle another way, as above, so below, as within, so without, the principle of correspondence, we understand how that releasing must happen, but in the physical world, right? If you decided to go to Seattle right? I'm in New York. So if I decided to go to Seattle, I have to release New York in order to be in Seattle. Yes, yes. I mean, you know that. I can't have a toe in Seattle and a toe in New York. It's impossible. But somehow we think that in order to change our financial status, we don't have to change. Somehow we think in order to have the loving relationship that we desire, we don't have to change. Somehow we think that in order to have a different experience, even with our children, that we don't have to change. Somehow we think that in order to have a different experience at work, we don't have to change. In order to have a different experience in our career, in our business, that we don't have to change. But just like in order to be in Seattle, from New York, you got to release New York. So you got to release that old sense of self. You got to release whoever you were. I release who I knew myself to be and lovingly embrace who I have decided to be. Just as we understand this practically in the physical world, so it is true in the metaphysical world. Your idea, desire, or divine vision is a decision to change, whether you knew it or not. The moment you embrace a new idea, desire, or vision for your life, what you are signaling to the great law of life, to the great law of mind, to this great creative process, you are signaling, I want to change, I'm ready to change, I'm willing to change. Release what is to embrace what can be. Release the comfortable and the familiar to have the new. Set your sights on your new horizon. This is the power of releasing. In this moment, I'm reminded of Beyonce's song, Break My Soul, but I'm hearing Big Freedia in my mind, right? Where Big Freedia, they're like, release your anger, release your mind, release your job, right? And I love that idea of release your mind, right? Release your old mind, release your old thoughts, release your old thinking, release your old way of being, release your job, release your trade. You are not your job. Release whatever identity you have with that thing so that you can have the new thing, the new job, the new career, the new business. So when you hear that song, I'm sure we're all still rocking Renaissance. I'm sure that record will be blasting for quite some time. But when you hear or listen to Break My Soul and you hear Big Freedia affirming that release, let your mind come back to this message. This is the power of releasing. You cannot become, you cannot have, you cannot be this new thing that you desire without releasing. I lovingly release who I knew myself to be. I lovingly release who I knew myself to be. And I embrace what I have decided to be. To that we say, Amen, Ashe, and so it is. Yes, yes.
Ah, yes, yes. The power of release. This message is so timely, not just for me, I know for everybody else. I spent last night doing just that, releasing, writing it down, letting it go, making and setting intentions, deciding who I want to be going forward.
Yes, yes.
Take this opportunity to do the same. You are going to advance who you are once you release who you were.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be afraid. This change mindset, this growth mindset that we're talking about, it requires you to release. It requires you to let go. And if you're honest with yourself, you're tired of the old you anyway. Right? The idea of looking towards the new, embracing something else, releasing all that is here now.
Yes, yes.
It's all for your good. So open up to a new way of being.
Yes, yes.
Are y'all ready to release? I did mine. I hope you do yours. Thank you, PG.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And next week, we've talked about the power of release, and I pray that you will take the time this week to do this releasing. Then the question is, well, what do we do after we release? Right? Nature abhors a vacuum. It has to be filled. So we're going to talk about that next week, which I'm excited about. In this moment, it is time for giving, and you all know how we feel about giving and how we teach giving here at CSC. Give what feels good. And what does that mean? It means that giving must be aligned with a vibration that is good. Unfortunately, really just, so many things around money in general have icky feelings, have bad feelings, have guilt feelings and shame feelings, but in the religious context and in church, unfortunately, even more so. And so it's important, if we understand the blessing of giving and we understand how vibration works, you're really planting the vibration behind the money, not the money itself. And so that's why it has to be a good feeling tone. Find your joy number. Whatever that joy number is, find it and feel good about it, be glad about it, and give in that energy. When you give in that energy, then you will experience the full, true blessing of giving. And when you give from that place and space, we can affirm this truth that all the money that I have,
all the money that I have
returns to me multiplied
returns to me multiplied
in a never-ending cycle
in a never-ending cycle
of increase and enjoyment. And so you see here on the screen, it's very easy to give to CSC. You can go to our website, celbrationsc.org/give, or you can text your dollar amount to 347-744-9500. There's a $10 minimum to give. Well, we are so grateful and happy to be here with you. It's awesome that the energy feels good as we switch out of the masterclass vibe. As we heard from Soul 21, which was powerful. We were both over here singing along and bopping along to Soul 21. And I'm excited about this series, 3-week series, but very necessary as it's preparing us as we're moving into this season. And it starts with release. We don't think of it. It's counterintuitive, right? That, oh, I want to have something. I want to be something. Oh, this is wonderful and exciting. 90 days left in the, almost 90 days left in the year, a little more than that. You can create something powerful. Oh, I know what I want. I know what I want to be. I know I want to have. Yeah, that requires release. And that is also about you changing. And that's something you have to accept. That's the process. So we pray that you have an amazingly awesome week. And we look forward to gathering with many of you for the prayer call on Wednesday. Feel free to share that information with anyone that you feel would like to hang out with us for the prayer call. And of course, feel free to tap in 24/7. You can access the most recent prayer call. If we don't connect on Wednesday, then we will gather together next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the weekend service as we continue to take our deep dive. Have an amazing Sunday and an awesome week. All right. Love you. Bye for now.
Bye for now.